Oftentimes when we're carrying tension in the shoulders, it starts to creep down the back or up the neck. So one of the things that we want to do with our yoga practice is maintain healthy shoulders. And there's two things that we really want to focus on. We want to make sure that we're working on mobility in the shoulder joint, in that range of motion. And we also want to make sure that we're strengthening the shoulders so that we don't overstretch them. So we're going to start off by talking about shoulder mobility. If you have a strap, you'll bring the strap in front of you, extend the arms out like a V, and about right at that place is where the hands are going to grab onto the shoulders. So we want it to feel a little tight, not like a jump rope, but we don't want it to be so tight that we can't glide it behind us. And we're going to go into some shoulder flossing. So on an inhale, you'll lift the strap up and then bring it behind you as you exhale. Inhale to bring it back up. Exhale to lower down. And this is called shoulder flossing. It's great for increasing the range of motion in the shoulders or maintaining the range of motion that you have. If we don't use it, we lose it. So we always want to work on mobility in the shoulder joint. And if you don't have a strap, you can do this from a seated position, just bringing the arm into some big circles. First going back, and then after a few rounds of that, you can come forward. And if for some reason this is uncomfortable or it feels like too much, you can bend the elbow and still work the mobility of the shoulder joint. Another thing that we can do for mobility in the shoulder joint is to bring the arms into cow face arms. So to do that, we'll extend the arms out to the side. On an inhale, send the right arm up, send the left arm down, bend at the elbows, and start to work the fingers towards each other. Maybe they come into a bind, and maybe they don't. Maybe you just grab onto the back of the shirt if that feels best in your body. You can also use the strap to connect here. And once you come into the bind of your choice, then you're going to take that top elbow and start to bring it out to the side to your own degree. And once you've done this on one side, you can release and try it on the other side. Another way to work mobility of the shoulder joint is in puppy pose. So you can come into tabletop and then drop down on the forearms. You want the hips to be right over the knees. Extend the arms towards straight. Drop the chest, the heart down towards the mat. And just breathe here for 2 to 3 breaths. And now we're going to strengthen the shoulders. So we'll start in tabletop and then tuck the toes, lift the hips, come into your downward facing dog. And from here, we're gonna do some shoulder presses. So on an inhale, press the hips back. As you exhale, begin to bend the elbows, flare the elbows out to the side. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, lower the head towards the earth, flare the elbows. Inhale, straighten the arms. And you can do as many of these as you like. You can mix these into your practice at any time when you're doing a shoulder strengthening sequence.
From tabletop, let's drop down onto the forearms. And you might choose to interlace the fingers and create a V shape with the forearms, or you might choose to point the fingertips towards the short edge of the mat and form the shape of the number 11. But wherever you are, make sure that the elbows are right underneath the shoulders. And then step the feet back 1 foot at a time. Lower the hips down ever so slightly to engage the low belly. And then draw the belly in and up towards the spine for forearm plank. And this is a great way to really engage and strengthen the shoulders. You can even rock back and forth here with the toes to add a little something extra intense for the shoulders. From forearm plank, bring the right arm to align with the short edge of the mat. And then roll over onto the side, flipping the left hip up to the sky. Stack the hips, bring the hand right on the hip, or maybe send it up overhead. The heels are stacked, and we're in side forearm plank. You can also stagger the feet if that feels better here. From tabletop pose, let's drop down onto the forearms, interlace the fingers. Make sure that we're starting with the shoulders right on top of the elbows. And then we're gonna tuck the toes and lift the hips, coming into dolphin pose. This is great for strengthening the shoulders, and you can even lift one leg at a time to put even more of the weight into the shoulders, building strength.